Welcome back guys, this is Gamer for Life, back with another brand new video in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now today's flight is a little bit different. First thing is it's short and sweet flight, number one. Number two, what we are going to do will be taking off from an airport which is not meant for takeoff by an airliner, but who cares? This is not a real flight simulation, this is just a simulation, a simulated flight inside the world's most popular flight simulator. And why not when it lets you do that? So let's now try and go to the world map. Now the first thing is we will be flying within the room between the two airports. So the first one is, if you type in LIRA or rather RU, it is Urbe. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. So this is the first one. This is the airport that we'll be taking off from, and we'll be flying to LIRA. So the other one, first one is Liru. Yes, it's Lira. This is in CM. Please forget my pronunciation. So these are very closely located, and if you fly directly, it's gonna be just 10 nautical miles or 1 minute flight. But what we need to change is, first we need to choose our airliner. So if you go to this airliner selection menu and filter it out by airliners, what you can see a list of the aircrafts, and I have fly-by-wire simulation A320neo installed, so I'm going to choose that, go back, and I'm going to choose high altitude airways. That's it, because we want to do an ILS approach, so it's important that we choose high altitude airways. And now let's set up our takeoff, because we'll be doing a cold and dark start. So we'll be going to our takeoff airport, our departure airport, and let's choose, I'm not sure which one, so I think we'll be taking off from this side. So let's choose the closest ramp or parking gate and set it as departure. Righty. So with this one set, we now need to choose the ILS landing runway option. So there's one runway on the Lira airport, and it's 33 or 15. So let's see. First I'm going to choose ILS. So you have 15Y, 15Z. Let's try 15Y. So it's going to be from this side. Alright, so this is giving us a weird path which makes little sense, if any. So let's choose our SID and STAR. So SID is standard instrument departure, which we need to choose for our departure airport. So let's see what we have. So it's just direct, so we have no other option for here. And let's go to the STAR, so standard arrival. So it's going to be for our arrival airport, and let's see, we are landing on runway 15 from this side. So this is 15. So let's see what do we have. So there are quite a few options for STAR. Let's try and see how it goes about. So what this is giving us is, when after we take off from our departure airport, we'll be making a turn to the right and then to the right again, and then there's this weird line. We have to go this far and then come back, and then turn left and then turn right, again go forward and then come back. So what I did, I tried exploring which one gives the least pain. So I found let one of all relatively better, making sense. So what this one's doing is, right after taking off, we'll be making a right turn, then again coming back and looping around, and then we'll be coming straight to land on runway 15. I think we'll go with this. And now let's look at our nav log. So it is giving us a cruise altitude of 38,000 feet, which in no way is possible. So we'll be doing this setting of cruise altitude in the flight management computer inside our fly-by-wire A320neo. So let's click fly. Alright, here we are. So first things first, let's go outside and see, take a look at the airport, and you can see this is very small airport, probably not meant for the airliners. So you see the small plane standing, and you can see the runway is fairly short. So I'll be showing you how I'm gonna try and take off. Alright, so let's go inside and let's start this beast. So I'm going to the top panel and turn on the batteries and external power. Meanwhile, I'll turn on the ADIRS switches to nav so that plane aligns itself, and to save time I'm going to turn on the APU master switch and the starter button. While the APU starts, we'll be setting up our brightness of various displays. Okay, for the top panel, while the APU is starting up. Now for the eCams upper. I hate that when thrust levers flicker like that, but I'm gonna just align it. I don't know why they do this. I mean, not that my joystick is dancing like that. Alright, so there we are. Okay, so while you can see the APU is starting, I'm gonna do some initial preparatory work in our FMC. So you can see if you click the init button, you have the from and to airport listed here because we did it in the flight planning inside MSFS. So let's choose cost index. So for the economical all reasons, without giving much reasons why it is, let's choose 40 as the cost index, and our cruise altitude will be 10,000 feet. I think that is what I'm gonna enter because we can't go above that. So let's choose that. It's gonna choose the temperature on its own, and let's give it a flight number. I'm gonna choose EK111. That's a random number. That's it, flight number is chosen. Now if you see, what I want to show you is if you want to choose your takeoff speed. So if you see the speed is given as 100, so this is being controlled manually. If you want the thrust to be controlled automatically, you need to enter these speeds, V1, rotate, and V2. But for these to work out, you need to first enter the flaps. For a shorter runway, I'm gonna use the flaps as 2. So you see you have 1, 2, and 3. So we are gonna use flaps 2. So this is a flight simulation, and I'm a flight sim enthusiast. I'm not a pilot. This is not a real life simulation. So we'll break all the rules and we'll do what we want. So I'm gonna choose flaps as 2. All right, and now in order to make these work properly, what we need is zero fuel weight CG and the block fuel. So that is all we need. So for that we need to go to our flying pad and turn it on. I'm gonna look at so the APU has become available. Let's turn on the APU bleed. Let's turn on fuel pumps, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna request taxi IFR. So we need to be at 123.8 when ready. So let's acknowledge it, and I hope it switches to tune on to 123.8. So that's it. We have flight clearance and we have taxi clearance. So what we need to do now is let's go to our flight management computer, our fly pad, and let's choose this vehicle icon, and it has operations related to services, pushback, fuel, and payload. So let's go to payload first, and this is gonna determine our zero fuel weight of our aircraft. So this aircraft has the capacity of maximum 174. We want it to be the lightest, so I'm gonna take only 50 passengers for this flight, and this calculates the cargo. So 15 kg cargo for all the 50 passengers, assuming each passenger weighs 80. So cargo is going to be this much. Zero fuel weight is going to be 47.2 in kgs, right? And our zero fuel weight CG is 24.8. So let's go to fuel, and we see our fuel, we don't need that amount of fuel, we can reduce it probably. Yeah, so let's take 5,000 kilos of fuel, or maybe let's keep it 6,000, and let's apply. This is gonna, so the block fuel is 60.9, and let's go back to payload. So we did not, because we did not apply it, so let's do it again. I'm gonna take 50 passengers and let's apply it, and right on. So we need to enter the zero fuel rate, which is 47.2, and zero fuel rate CG is 24.8, 47.2 and 24.8. So let's go back to our FMC. So it is 472. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, on behalf of myself, your captain, the first officer, and cabin crew, I'd like to take this time.
So I'm not doing it. This is inside. I'm
just wrapping up some
wire.
paperwork
It's happening on its own,
and I final numbers from the ground crew. Then we'll be on our way. Flight attendants will be coming through the cabin shortly with a very important safety briefing. We do ask that you give them your full, undivided attention as they review the safety operations of this Airbus aircraft. We do appreciate your business having aboard this flight.
So this is 47.2 and 24.8.
Welcome aboard.
This is 7. Let's enter this. Okay, and we need our block fuel, so for that we need to go back to our fuel tab, and we have 60.9. right, let's go back. It's a 60.95. okay, so we have all the information that we need. Now if we go to our performance page, you can press V1 and it will give you speeds on its own. So 164, V165 for rotate, and V2 as 169. okay, now if you look at the speeds, now this will be controlled by the aircraft and this will not be manual. So that's the main thing that we need to do. Now we are ready for everything. Our APU is on, and let's turn on the cruise oxygen supply. Let's turn on the strobe light to let the ground crew move away because engine is starting. Let's turn on the beacon lights, wing lights. Let's turn on nav. Let's turn on taxi lights. Let's set nose light to taxi, and the landing lights are already retracted. Let's turn on seatbelt signs and set smoking to auto. That's it, I think. Now we can line up for, we can call in the pushback tug. Let's see now. Alrighty, so we need to move back in this direction a little bit, and then we can taxi straight up further, and then we'll be starting our engines. Alright, and I'm assuming there will not be any pushback tug coming in, so it will be just happening on its own. Right, so let's click on pushback. Let's turn on the pushback system. Let's call in the pushback tug. Tug is attached, it says, although you won't see any, but it is there, trust me. So we can now start moving back. Let's release the parking brake, and what we can do, we can start our engine 2.
Each door is equipped with an evacuation slide that can be detached from the aircraft and used as a ramp. All exits are clearly marked as a sign.
Let's turn left. You have to see we do not get off track on that grass. We have to be very precise. This is a very small airport. Engine 2 starting, so far so good. And I think that is where I'm gonna stop pushback. It's good enough. Let's stop it.
you have any questions about the
Let's turn on the parking brake. Let's call off the pushback tug and turn off the pushback system. Okay. Let's see when the engine to stabilize.
Thank you for your attention, and we hope you enjoyed this experience.
Okay, seems like it has. So now we can turn on engine 1. And while engine 1 is turning on, we need to see our initial climb altitude. It's gonna be 13,000 feet. So we are gonna keep it at 10,000 feet. Right. Yes, that's it. Now engine 1 is powering up. Okay, it's almost stabilized, and yes, this is fine. This has become available, and what now we can do is set the engine selector mode to normal. We can go to our top panel, and we can turn off APU. We do not need it, and I think we are ready to taxi for our takeoff. Let's release the parking brake. I'm gonna add a little thrust and then set it to idle. Gentle pressure on my joystick to set the direction. And while we are getting into position, I'll set the radio count to AI, and we'll set flaps to 2. Let's slow down. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna veil the maximum space on the runway, so I'll go a little left. I'm just gonna slow down, and then from here I'll just turn right. Okay, we are in position almost. That's it, we are in position. Let's lock it. Let's engage parking brake. Now I'm gonna do something very unusual, just bear with me. So let's set auto brakes to medium. Okay, and our flaps, let's set it to 2. It was on 3, no need for 3. And let's set the ATC to auto, and let's engage speed brakes. Now bear with me, I'm gonna do something which only can be done in flight sim. Okay, so without releasing the parking brake, I'm gonna set the thrust levers to maximum. You're gonna hear this warning alarm because the parking brakes are engaged. I want engines to take up some power, and I'm going to release our parking brake. I'm going to use the maximum power of the engines to take off from this smaller runway. It's trying to stay lined up with the runway, and we're going to take off.
40.
I'm gonna set the flaps to 1, and if we look at, we are set to, you need to keep an eye for the A lock, because if it gets locked up you are not going to be able to engage autopilots. So I think we are gonna set the thrust levers to climb. Auto thrust is engaged. I'm gonna engage autopilot, and I'm gonna set flaps to 0. And we have successfully taken off from the smallest runway, shortest runway. Okay. What I forgot essentially was to set the nose light to take off when taking off. So I'm gonna set it to off. I'm gonna turn off the taxi lights, and
2,500.
the rest is okay. Okay, so we are en route to our path for taking a round trip around our takeoff airport, that is Leroux, and then we'll be coming back. Okay, if you want to see how we are gonna be flying is, ideally this should have gone this way, but we are turning in this direction. Or rather, we have to line up with this line, because this is how we are supposed to fly. So we are going to line up with this airway, and then we'll be coming back and lining up for landing with our arrival airport, that is Lira. So I think we are fine with that. Our altitude, we are climbing up nicely at 10,000 feet, somewhere around, let me show you the map, it's easier to navigate. What I'll do, I'll be aiming to be at 5,000 feet when we reach this area, which is RA404. So for now we are fine, we are climbing up nicely. Right, we'll be making a gentle left turn to line up with our next waypoint. So we have reached our cruise altitude, so to speak. ATC will keep telling you to climb up to 38,000 feet. Simply ignore it, don't listen to it. You don't want to crash land for such a short flight, you know, going up to 38,000 feet and then, you know, coming up steeply. That's not practical. That's not the purpose of our flight. I think we have some nice visuals. You can see that lake, circular shape. Let's go outside and see. It's a beautiful Rome. And we have that nice lake over there. Oh, we forgot to take. Let's go inside. We did not. Oh my goodness. The landing gear is up, but still is showing that it isn't. How can that be? See? Let's see if that works. Now it is. So it was up. I did not do so. So this isn't on me. I did not do it. It's coming down again. Is there anything wrong that I've done? Why is it happening? Huh? Well, why aren't these closing? This is the strangest thing that I've ever seen. So we'll pretend this is not happening and we'll ignore it. And we'll be doing a sightseeing over beautiful Rome. Love that lake, the shape of it. I hope the residents in the vicinity must be coming for a day to enjoy the sightseeing and the lovely weather. So let's go inside, and we are gonna we'll be making a gentle left turn. So see, the landing gear is still up, and I'm just curious why is it happening. Not sure. All right, let's go inside. We are speeding up to 290, and we are at 10,000 feet. We'll keep the landing lights on because that's what you're supposed to do. And we are turning up nicely. Nice and gentle left turn. Okay, so by the waypoint A404, which is about 20 nautical miles, we want to be at 5,000 feet, because as we start turning for lining up with our airport, we want to be in the range of capturing the glide slope, and that will enable us to have an ILS and auto landing. Yes, the scene's going up pretty nicely. So we'll wait a bit before we start our descent. ATC is telling us to expedite our climb to 13,000 feet. We choose to ignore it. We forgot to turn off our speed brakes, which I just did. So we are about 12 nautical miles from our waypoint, and this aircraft descends down fairly quickly. It's just 5,000 feet to descend. So what I'll do, I'll just wait a few more moments. Maybe when we are 5 nautical miles from the waypoint, we'll start our descent. So if you look at when you're doing flight planning inside MSFS, it will tell you the waypoint from where you need to start your descent. I just simply ignored to note it down, but because this is a very short flight and we are gonna staying not above 10,000 feet, but that is actually very helpful, you know, if you wanna know when to start your descent, and you have the calculations in the flypad too. So let's look at it while we are going for our flight. So there it is. It's a little darker. It's better now. So our target altitude in feet is 5,000 feet. Right. So our current altitude is 10,000 feet. We are sinking it, and the target is 5,000. So at 3-degree angle, it is telling us to start our descent 16 nautical miles before our runway, landing runway. So if I show you the VFR map, so from raw 404 to CMP, it is, I think this will be about the same distance, so it will be around maybe around 15 nautical miles, and then we'll be lining up with the runway. So maybe somewhere around here we can start our descent, but I just want to be ahead of time, you know, I want to be just lined up. So 15 nautical miles from our waypoint, raw 404 is an, I think it's an airway. Alright, so I think I'm gonna start descending, because what it will do, it won't go up to this point, it will start make a swift turn before it reaches here. So we wanna start descending right now. So I'm gonna set the altitude to 5,000 feet, and as we start descending, I'm gonna activate the approach phase, which is gonna slow down the aircraft. Right, so you go to performance page, you will be given an option here to activate the approach phase. I've already done it, so it won't. Okay, so you see when you activate the approach phase, the aircraft starts slowing down. It's gonna settle for I think 180 or something like that. Is it 230? Yeah, maybe it is. So it's gonna slow down, and we'll be well in time before we reach the point where we have to capture the glide slope, because that's important for our ILS landing. Okay, so we are descending. Decent rate. I'm gonna just speed up our descent, because we want to be there in time. Settling for 9,000 feet, and our speed is going to be 190. I'm just going to retry it. Sometimes it does this. I set it for 4,000, it's settling for 9,000, which I do not want. So I'm going to go down. Try it again. Sometimes it does weird thing, you know, where you're unable to descend to your desired altitude, or your autopilot isn't responding to things that you're setting up there. Approach phase is active, and it must allow us to descend down our desired altitude. What I'm going to do, I'm going to disengage the autopilot, and I'm going to re-engage it and see how it goes. So is there something in the flight plan that is preventing it from descending down? So 3,000, it has to be at 3,000 feet when it has to be at 9,000 feet when it is at raw 404, and by the time it reaches our A407 airway, it has to be at 3,000 feet. I think that's the reason why. So as we move to our A406, which is going to be our next waypoint, this is going to let us descend down. So it is now going to 6,000 feet. So I think it's working well. So it's my mistake. Alright, so we are descending well. We can turn on the landing system, and which will help us see the localizer and the glide slope and ILS frequencies given there for the runway, which is ILS 15Y. You can see it mentioned over here. We're going down. I'm gonna just do it 4,000 on my part. As we move ahead, I think we'll be able to descend down further. So I think things are looking good. We're going to make a left turn again for RA407, and it will be starting sooner than you can see it on this map, because on the flight display panels you can see the fly-by-wire makes a swifter turn earlier in order to prevent it from overshooting this angle. Alright, we'll have to wait a bit. Yes, so you can see the glide slope coming in range. I will turn the approach button. As soon as we capture this, plane will start descending and it will start lining up with the runway. So the approach button is on. So somebody asked me in the comments when to turn on the localizer or the approach button. So this is when, as you're nearing your glide slope, you need to turn on these approach buttons so that you can follow that up. So we are reaching 6,000 altitude, and this is the point where the glide slope is. So we are a little higher, but we are descending, and we'll be well in range of the glide slope, so we'll be able to capture it. So you don't want to be too high. That is the reason why I was talking about, descending down well before, so that we do not miss the glide slope. As soon as this diamond touches this yellow line, the plane will start descending. And in order to slow down, we can add flap 1. So you see flap 1 is displayed over here. And as we descend down further, I think we will be in range of capturing the glide slope. So we'll be making a final left turn to line up with the runway. So here's our final turn, and I'm hoping for the glide slope diamond to reach the yellow line center. And we have captured the glide slope and both the localizer, and now our plane will start lining up with the runway and at the same time start descending. So this time we can add flaps 2. When we slow down further, we want to land at a speed of around 130 to 140 knots between them, not more, not less. So our plane is descending. You can see I set the altitude at 4,000, but now since it has captured the glide slope, it is descending down to line up with the runway, and we are about somewhere, I think this will be around 10 nautical miles from the runway. So what we can do, the plane is slowing down further until it reaches 40, and we can lower the landing gear. We can make preparation for landing, so set the auto brakes to medium. Let's engage the speed brakes, which is already engaged. because I forgot to, or maybe accidentally in the middle it got engaged again. Alright, so there's our runway. We are lined up with the runway. We are descending at a decent rate, and
2,500.
our final landing speed will be around 123 or something like that. Let's take a peek outside. Alright, I'm not now gonna engage autopilot 2 because we want to do auto landing. That's it. Sit back and relax. You should see this message of flight look like being replaced by the word land, which confirms that we will be doing an auto landing.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
Don't worry about the message because there are buildings in the proximity.
Too low, terrain. 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 Too low, terrain.
20, 10, retard.
You should stop saying that now. Alright, that's retard. Let's engage reverse thrust. And we can set this to auto, apply brakes. Our AI is handling the radio communication. It should give us instructions for parking gate sooner. Yes. Yep, there we go. Let's disengage autopilot. Let's disengage speed brakes. And let's go to our parking gate and taxi. So I hope you enjoyed this flight. So this was about using the taking advantage of the simulation, you know, and trying to manage a takeoff from a short runway and taking off successfully and doing an ILS landing. So a shortest flight if you want to test your skills, if you want to practice how to fly in a flight sim, and that too Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. So I hope you like the video, and do leave comments, do subscribe to my channel. I see 98% of the views of my channel, of my videos, come from those who are not subscribed. So do give it a thought, you know, you just need to hit that button and you will get nice videos like these. And let me know what kind of videos you want to see, gaming related videos, not just flight simulation but games that you like. I do like to play simulation city building games, and I've been trying and testing a few ideas of different games apart from the MSFS 2020 to add to my channel, the videos on those games. So let me know what you think and do put up any ideas. So I'll see you in my next video.